Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. My name is Bill Spencer, a Senior Director on Microsoft Teams Engineering, and I'm excited today to have WorkplaceBuddy, an app I've been very interested in learning more about because I've been hearing about from several customers. So Short Golan is presenting the integration with Microsoft Teams. Take it away, Short.
All right, thank you, Bill, and well, thank you everybody for being here with us. My name is Sjoerd Kolen from WorkplaceBuddy, and I'll introduce myself. I used to work at Microsoft actually as an adoption consultant, where I experienced how important yet challenging it is to guide people to make the most out of Microsoft 365, which is what we call adoption. So I also designed the adoption proposition of Microsoft in the Netherlands, which is where we come from. Personally, I'm a huge music fan, into cycling, and my biggest legacy at Microsoft when I used to work there is the design of the cycling jersey. Always relevant to share that with you. So what we're here for is the opportunity that comes with Microsoft 365, right? We can increase productivity, increase collaboration, and satisfaction of users because so much is possible. But what we see in reality without support is that most people don't make the most out of it, which is a waste of the investment in Microsoft 365. So what many companies do is they offer training, which isn't very scalable nor continuous. I used to deliver those trainings myself, and what I experienced is that for 10 people, it's too hard. For 10 people, it's too easy. For 2 people, it might have been spot on, but within 3 days, 75% is already forgotten. SaaS, the forgetting curve. The consequences are that quite some money is spent not only on Microsoft 365, but also on training with very little effect, which is a waste. So that's what we want to solve. We want to realize happy and productive people without any hassle. So by hassle, we mean spending hundreds of hours on communication plans, another 100 hours on planning trainings, even before you get started with delivering them at all. We're accessible, and we do that through a proactive guidance, which is very personal around Microsoft 365, but reactively we provide dedicated support for Microsoft 365. And we do that through a scan where in the Teams app, which is what we are, we ask a couple of questions. Questions about your persona, your digital readiness level, and the preferences that you have. I used to do this as a consultant, but then I could interview 10 to 15 people of large customers. Now we can interview entire organizations, which, well, leads to quite some interesting results. But for us, it enables us to guide each individual user in a personal way. And we do that through proactive messages, which is basically messages within Teams with a Teams notification around the topics that are relevant to you. Are you into Teams? Then we'll invite you to do the Teams campaign. Are you into other topics like OneNote or the scenario smarter collaboration? Then we'll invite you to learn more around that topic. Now, there's also support. So if you have questions, then you could ask WorkplaceBuddy your questions about Microsoft 365. Most of the times, the chatbot knows the answer to the question, but questions that are not known and are about Microsoft 365 are answered by our support. So you can also regard us as your external Microsoft 365 support. And new, since last week, actually, is our buddy system. And that basically makes it possible for ambassador networks to become continuous and more impactful. And we do that by enabling people to receive badges, and they receive badges once they finish learnings. And if you receive enough badges, then we're going to ask you whether you want to become a buddy. If you are a buddy, then it's presented on the buddy screen. But also if you ask a question to the chatbot that the chatbot doesn't know, it will be forwarded to the most relevant buddies. I'll show you later on. So let's start with the proactive and personalized 365 guidance, which is what we do through the assessment, the scan as well. So there we ask a couple of questions, which is basically the onboarding experience, a couple of questions about your Microsoft 365 readiness, your digital readiness, so to say, your persona. So what kind of user are you? What is most interesting for you? And what are your preferences? Do you like a funny tone of voice? Maybe would you like us to be more serious? Would you like us to be very interactive or only do that once a month or once every 2 months? That's stuff we can use to help you in the best possible way. And with that information, we can target audiences within your organization. So let's say this user is very interested in Teams, and we make that clear from the assessment. Then we say, hey, I noticed that you're very interested in Microsoft Teams. Can I guide you in some topics around that because you're a real Teams Pro user? And if you say yes, so it's through opt-in, then we'll follow up with some additional messages with nice, interesting content that could be from any source, actually. But obviously, we also deliver our content to you as well. So you don't need to worry about that. We're actually one of the 8 official Microsoft Learning Pathway partners, but we also have our own content. And if you finish all learnings, which is mostly around 2 to 3 minutes, that will influence your profile, which influences the suggestions that we have for you. So this is constantly evolving. Not only this learning journey, but also the follow-up campaigns that we have in mind for you. So that's the proactive part with the assessment, the targeted audience campaigns. And now we'll focus on the reactive part where we answer your questions. And we do that through the chatbot or the knowledge base that is there. So if you ask your questions about Microsoft 365, then most of the times the chatbot knows the answer to the question, along with some nice, interesting content. So if you open that, then in this case, an e-learning is opened. And if you finish that learning, again, your profile is basically influenced, which influences the follow-up suggestions that we have for you. If you ask a question that the chatbot does not know, then we'll follow up with a Teams notification like, hey, a couple of hours ago or an hour ago or a couple of minutes ago, you had a question that the chatbot did not know. Here's the answer to your question. And then there's the buddy system. If you finish a lot of learnings, then you'll finish badges, and then we'll invite you to become a buddy. You will be visible here in the Your Buddies screen. You can chat directly with experts, but you can also ask your questions to the chatbot. And if the chatbot does not recognize the answer to the question, then you'll be able to select a buddy. A similar screen pops up. You can even change the question. You can filter on experts on Excel, OneDrive, or whatever, and also filter on who's available so you can expect a quicker answer. So this really enables organizations to help each other, to create ambassador systems that really work and are continuous. And we call that Your Buddies. There's also a way to get in control. There's a portal available, and there you see all the statistics around the scan that we've done, but also about the videos that are watched. And what many companies do, it's not compulsory, but many companies think it's very interesting, we agree, is to create campaigns, which is the sets of proactive messages scheduled in time. So you can say, well, these are the people that are really into Teams. These are the people that are really into OneNote or in the scenario smarter collaboration, but you can also focus on specific AD groups in your organization. So this is a great way to engage your people, and also about any other topic that is relevant for your organization. The great thing about creating campaigns is that it is so easy to just create this communication plan that is actually executable at the same time. Within 1 or 2 hours, we can create a communication plan for like a couple of months that you can execute by just pressing one button, which is pretty amazing, we think. Excuse me. So how we differentiate, first of all, we're very personal. We get to know you through the scan, but also because of your progress. So we have an idea of who you are and what is interesting for you. We're proactive, so we're not waiting for you to watch our library of content. We're proactive, so we come to you, deliver the content that matches your specific needs. And we're a service, so we're constantly updating content and answers to questions that are coming into our system. And of course, we're very scalable, by the way. We can help everybody in this personal, proactive servicing way. So yeah, this is how we see the world. There are two ways of making the most out of your modern workplace, and we think you should put Microsoft 365 guidance and support on autopilot, because there's the tired way where there's no Microsoft 365 guidance and support, or where you fix it through consultants who have to fix everything, which is not very scalable and maybe very expensive. The result is that there's quite some underutilized capabilities of your Microsoft 365 investment, also underutilized capabilities of your people, maybe unsatisfied people, burdened IT support because they have to answer so many questions, and quite some money is spent on limited impact because people, like I used to be, well, I'm still a person, are not scalable. So yeah, if you choose to do nothing for Microsoft 365's guidance and support, then there are no costs, which is a great thing, but there won't be any impact. If you decide to fix this with consultants and trainers alone, that's not very scalable, and quite some money is spent on intakes, alignment, planning, training, while reaching less than 10% of the organization. There's also the wired way, which is proactive and personal guidance at scale with support from a dedicated help desk and buddies, realizing happy and productive people, unburdened IT support, and Microsoft 365 return on investment. And also, when we're looking at costs, we guarantee a business case. Because WorkplaceBuddy can be activated for free in your tenant, and you can scale up or down active licenses per month through the Azure Marketplace. So on wp.ms/azure-marketplace, you can go to the Azure Marketplace website, and there you see all the pricing, and it's very easy to just get started. Basically, it takes less than 5 minutes to activate WorkplaceBuddy, and then we're ready to go. The only thing is to wait for Microsoft Teams app to make visible or icon. So that's all, and then your entire adoption proposition starts if you choose to run it out of the box, because we can help you with specific campaigns as well. So there you have it, WorkplaceBuddy, realizing happy and productive people, unburdening support, and realizing a return on investment for your Microsoft 365 through proactive guidance, dedicated support. And we do that in a proactive way through the workforce assessment and proactive guidance. And reactively, we do that through the chatbot, a dedicated help desk that is always ready for you and through your buddies. Next steps, we really encourage you to follow our YouTube channel, which has free content to offer, and email surprise as a subject to short@workplacebuddy.com if you want to receive a goodie, or just email for me for any other questions. Thank you so much. And looking forward to your questions if there are any. And
sure, this is
yeah,
excellent.
yeah.
Thank you so much. And Thomas has been super helpful answering and sharing links in chat. I really admire your approach to this because so many companies are struggling with this very thing. So this is a great way to take full advantage of your investment in M365 to crowdsource, even gamify, I'd say, the solution to the problem. And just yesterday afternoon, I was receiving some help from a colleague. If we only had WorkplaceBuddy, I could have solved this issue weeks earlier. So thank you. I appreciate the product, the integration with Teams, and I love your presentation. So Knock asks, are there different tracks by persona and stage, or is it based on the initial setup question?
If I get the question right, so let's check afterwards. So there's a different journey for each individual user. The fact that we kind of catch your persona, which is what kind of employee are you? What are your needs? Is just a part of our investigation in who you are and what your needs are. And that defines how we will guide you proactively and reactively through WorkplaceBuddy. So it's a set of questions that we have. But if you want to add additional questions to find out other things that we maybe do not investigate, then that's totally fine. And then we can target on those results later on as well.
Okay, so what I understand is you've got initial set of questions. Your organizations that license WorkplaceBuddy can customize those set of questions if they want. And there's an aspect of growing over time. So it's not necessarily by persona, but it adapts. And it's clear from the display of badges that you can identify who the experts are and work with them to answer questions. It adapts in that way. Knock also asks how much content you have around Viva.
Yeah, I've heard Viva is quite becoming a thing, isn't it? So yes, we definitely do offer content around Viva or about the different Viva suites that are there. And basically, we decide what our content is going to be next sprint based on the actual questions that people ask. So all in all, we have more content about Teams than about Yammer, with all respect. But what we do make sure is that we have precisely enough content because that's what people want to know, or because that's the input that we discuss with Microsoft and or partners, which we have as well. Right. So we're constantly aligning on that and constantly adding new content around topics that are relevant, and this is one very good example.
So, Short, is it fair to say that you could think of the content as being leaves on a tree, and your branches are crowdsourced? If there's questions around a certain area, you're going to go deeper and deeper and deeper, extend into more branches and more leaves based on feedback from users as they are inquiring around M365.
Yeah, and some content gets older, and then we have to remove it and refresh it with something new, which influences the badges as well, by the way. So you need to stay up to date, which is in real life as well. But yeah, we're constantly evolving our content, and that's what we do, right? So we have a way of delivering content, but we produce content at the same time.
Brilliant, brilliant. Knock asks another question. Do you have a monthly newsletter or some way of saying, here's what's new in M365? Be some feature that highlights what's new.
The 2-minute video.
Yes, we have that somewhere next month, I believe, or maybe at the end of this month already. So I told you about campaigns, right? So the proactive messages that we can send to specific people or to everybody in your organization. We're also going to do a campaign about a monthly update on what's new in Microsoft 365. So we're going to ask everybody whether they want to be involved in this topic, which is a campaign on itself. And then every month, if you opt in, and if you do not opt out, which is a possibility, don't worry, you'll get a nice update on what's relevant for you. Yes, we do.
That's great. So what I'm seeing here is crowdsourcing content, crowdsourcing answers, gamification, lowering costs, improving productivity.
Yeah, that's a better summary than I was able to deliver. So thank you for that.
Great. Okay, so what languages do you support?
Oh, yeah. So currently only English and Dutch. The Dutch language is really small in the world, but yeah, well, we tend to talk that language ourselves. But so primarily English is what we focus on. We're definitely thinking about Spanish and French, but that's going to be later this year.
Excellent. Any plans around support for FedRAMP?
As we speak, we're working on that together with Microsoft. And if you see opportunities to work with us on specific customers, then that helps us to put that forward in our roadmap. But as we speak, we're working on this. So we would be more than happy to engage with you about this topic, because we already understood this is very relevant.
Can you speak to data residency?
I think we can.
In terms of compliance, where's
Yeah.
the data stored? Because there could be questions that come from users that may be sensitive to certain organizations.
Yeah, exactly. So we do quite some of these assessments already with our customers. So we've already have quite some customers larger than 5,000 people who ask us to do these assessments, and they have been always positive. So we're very motivated to well go through that together with you and your customers. So yeah.
Many of the folks that I work with are in the financial services industry, regulated users. It's a sensitive topic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So here in the Netherlands, we're working with the biggest insurance company as well. So yes, it's a different scene, so to say. But the things they want to have clear, it makes sense. And here as well, we work together with Microsoft to well make that even more transparent than it already is. And everything is hosted on Azure anyway.
Excellent. And is the data encrypted?
Oh, yes. While on the move and while being static, yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate your collaboration with Microsoft, the innovation you've shown in the WorkplaceBuddy in general, and specifically its integration with Teams. Thank you so much for presenting today. Thank you everyone who is able to join. We look forward to spreading the word about WorkplaceBuddy and how it can save time, improve the workplace culture, recognize competence and excellence, and folks becoming knowledgeable about M365 and sharing it with their colleagues.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks all. Bye-bye.